Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the AEW Dark review for the 6th of July 2021. 17 matches today. That's just ridiculous. This needs to stop being a let's include all our friends program. It really does. But maybe that'll change once we're back on the road for AEW here. Lance Archer defeats Ryan Mantell. And so Mantell makes his debut. He obviously loses here. Roberts is on commentary for the match. Mantell gets a couple drop kicks and a pounce by Archer. Archer gives a little bit too much offense, and the match goes about 3 minutes when it needs to go about 60 seconds. And the enhancement Telton kicks out of a full Nelson slam. Archer wins with a spinning side slam, and then we go to QT Marshall and Aaron Solo with Nick Kanemaru defeating TNT, Terrence and Terrell Hughes. 5:06. No reason for this match to be taking place either in the sense that if you have a match on the main show, there's no reason for you to be on the underneath show, except the fact that QT Marshall, in fact, is a guy that, is part of the booking committee and puts himself in these positions. So anyway, Kanemaru is demoted to cornerman. I don't know. I don't know that that's necessarily a forward-thinking thought. Anyway, Marshall is in their double team maneuvers by the Sons of Devon Dudley. TNT are the Sons of Devon Dudley. And Terrence is a clothesline. And then the factory has a little bit of team control. Kanemaru is arguing with the referee. The switch by the Dudley twins. Solo goes for the pedigree finisher to Terrell, but he takes control. TNT hits the what's up on Solo and goes for the 3D. Marshall breaks it up, and then they hit Terrell with a sloppy version of a diamond cutter for a win. I don't know why, as second-generation stars, you're not using the name value of Devon's sons, but again, that's just poor booking by the Booker of the Year. Anyway, so the waiting room with Dr. Britt Baker. Baker runs down Cody Rhodes' strap match and also mocks him as well. And a big return to Pittsburgh. Guests are Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss. Why they're wasting time with Janela, I don't know. Kiss on his own would have a beautiful segment. Janela is Baker's newest client, and Janela will have the most successful mouth in all of wrestling. Why? How? Anyway, Kiss is upset with Janela not being a good friend and not being there for him. Calls out Alex Marvez to help explain his actions. Marvez is at the strip club, and this whole thing is just a waste of my time, especially on a show with 17 matches. Kiss and Janela eventually hug it out, and they prolong an angle that doesn't need to be prolonged. Pointless segment. Baker tries to encourage Janela to turn on Kiss, but he doesn't go for it. And then we go to Abaddon versus Natalia Markova, 2.5 minutes. Markova tries to do a Matrix bridge, but Abaddon splashes her in the process, following up with a inverted rocker dropper for her 11th straight win. Perhaps she's going at Britt Baker for the championship at some point, and maybe they can dispel this gimmick and do something useful instead. Matt Sydal with Mike Sydal defeats Carly Bravo 3 3/4 minutes. Sydal gets a win, and he gets a future bit of matches. Why you put a former national level star in a bunch of squash matches week by week doesn't make sense. Leg lariat and lightning spiral does get him the win. However, Blade with Matt Hardy and the Bunny defeats Trey Lamar, almost 6.5 minutes. Lamar gets a near fall with the top rope crossbody late in the match. Anyway, Lamar hits the top rope elbow. Blade follows up with a clothesline. Blade uses a belt, and the ref takes it away. Bunny is a distraction, and slips brass knucks to her man, and Lamar gets knocked out for the pin. So you have a star on a national television program who can't even beat an enhancement talent. This makes perfect sense. Anyway, Bear Bronson with Bear Boulder defeats Big Trouble Bishop in nearly 4.5 minutes. Bishop is certainly a tall guy, and it's fine. Bishop's AEW debut is here. He gets hit with a big boot and a side slam for near fall. Bishop misses a boot in the corner and gets hung up in the ropes. Bronson hits a suplex out of this. Second suplex and a clothesline and a sit-down splash. Give Bronson the win. Who really cares? Speaking of who cares, Marco Stunt and Fuego del Sol defeat Baron Black and Ryzen in just under 6 minutes. Stunt and Del Sol are part of the vlog crew of Sammy Guevara, which is basically the Job Squad updated to 2021. Del Sol gets his first win in AEW as a member of the tag team. Black and Ryzen trying to sell for Stunt basically kills their careers, but absolutely nobody cares because we all like Marco Stunt because he looks like a little person on cocaine. And then there's stereo moonsaults on Ryzen and Black on the floor. Ryzen sets up Stunt for a superplex. Stunt gets a blind tag to Del Sol and escapes. Del Sol then flies and hits a tornado DDT to get the win on Ryzen. Still his first AEW win. Guevara, Griff Garrison, and Dustin Rhodes come out to celebrate with Del Sol and Stunt. Exactly why stars are celebrating with non-stars doesn't make sense either. Chris Statlander defeats Viva Van in 3.25 minutes. Van's making her AEW debut. Why are we still debuting people post-pandemic when we don't? Statlander gets a little bit of shine, as one would expect with this sort of situation being what it is. Statlander has been good since her return from physical injuries that hopefully do not plague her in the future, but that would require some level of psychology for talents who don't feel the need to take as many risks. Her and Cassidy against Bunny are taking place tomorrow night on Dynamite, or tonight, as this is being recorded on Dynamite, which is fine, although if you're on Dynamite, there's no need to be on these underneath shows on a consistent basis. Statler face plants Van out of an electric chair and hits an axe kick and a Big Bang Theory to finish her. She gets her 12th straight victory, again a good challenger somewhere down the road for Britt Baker to be sure. Varsity Blondes with Julia Hart defeats Chad Lemieux and Zachariah in 5 minutes. Varsity Blondes are a great tag team. Wouldn't mind if they were on the show more often as long as we didn't have 17 matches to contend with. Blind tag to Brian Pillman Jr. Held up Zachariah for a dropkick. Does Garrison. Nice double team spot there. Pillman Jr. does a little bit of selling more than he should, being a featured talent. And then there's a Stinger splash and a Falcon Arrow. Garrison follows up with a rolling elbow. And then there's the Air Pillman clothesline for the pin. They continue a winning streak. Later, they do an interview with Dasha, and they want to win the tag titles. Obviously, that isn't happening because the Bucks only care about putting themselves over, but hey, it's a nice pipe dream of a thought. Angelico defeats Prince Kai in just under 3.5 minutes. Angelico wins with the Navarro Death Roll. Post-match, he dances his way to the back. Obviously, you got to set up a babyface attacking at some point. And then Wheeler Yuta defeats Ryan Nemeth with the Wingman. Nemeth is so talented, and why he's putting over brand new talent. Although Yuta has something, actually has a lot going for him, but I don't know that Nemeth is the guy that has to put him over. Nemeth he sends him to the floor. Wingmen are out there getting their fix. Yuta, and basically Nemeth gets stripped up by Yuta in the ropes and cradle for a win. I don't know. This was a flat match and didn't need to be here. Shawn Spears and Wardlow defeat Hunter, Knott, and Resla Grollo. Knott and Grolo making their debuts. Wardlow's version of 3 suplexes in a row is featured here. He basically throws guys halfway across the ring in a vertical suplex position. And then Grolo gets destroyed on the floor by Spears. Spears finishes off Knott with a C4 in a total squash. I don't know why this needed to be here other than we put all our friends on the show. Anyway, Ty Conti defeats Kylan King, 6:48. Match could have been half the length and gotten the same point across. Ty Conti has -1 with her. Conti tries to get -1 to dance with her, but that doesn't happen. Conti apparently is getting a title shot somewhere down the road because Excalibur implied such, and I was away from my TV screen and had to turn on the sound for a minute because when Excalibur's talking, I tend not to listen. And then King lays out Conti with a clothesline, comes back with a springboard sunset flip from the top rope and catches King and head and arm into a takedown. King escapes the choke, gets to the ropes. King has an advantage and a 1 count into a small package. King scores another near fall after a Polish hammer and hits a sit-out power slam, and King gets a near fall. This was a good move, but why is she being pushed in this level when Conti has momentum? King locks in the Dragon Sleeper. Conti escapes with a knee strike and a jawbreaker. Conti hits some clotheslines, a ripcord, and a trio boot and into the corner. King and Conti on the apron. King hits a Uranagi on the apron, back into the ring, and Conti counters a hip toss attempt into a DDT for the 8th straight win. Probably one of the better women's matches in a little bit on any of these AEW shows. Dark Order, Colt Cabana, Alex Reynolds 10, and Alex 5 Angels with -1 defeat. Will Alday, Jason Hutch, Chandler Hopkins, and Dean Alexander. Why we need an 8-man squash match this late in the show, who knows? Angels gets a pin after a nice frog splash on Alexander. Dark Order completely squashes everybody, and absolutely nobody cares. Jack Evans with Matt Hardy defeats Mike Seidel with Matt Seidel 4 minutes. Angelico comes out with Evans. Hardy sends him to the back. Mike avoids a collision with the referee. Evans catches Seidel into a backslide into a bridge and then gets the win. Red Velvet and Ashley Vox go 3 1/4 minutes. Velvet wins a quick match. Chef's kiss for her 3rd straight win. Eddie Kingston and Penta with Alex Abrahantes defeats Chaos Project 622. No reason for this to go nearly 6.5 minutes. Serpentico hits a Rana on Penta and counters into a powerbomb of his own knee. Ouch, this looks like it hurts. Kingston hits Serpentico with a half-and-half suplex, and then Penta hits the Fear Factor for the pin. Chaos Project is still a waste of energy, but hey, Jericho has a friend who was around 30 years ago when he broke in. Anyway, that is the end of the AEW Dark Review for this week. We'll be back with more right after this.